Hello everybody, Sam from RoadTrailRun. Let's take a look at Atreyu's Daily Trainer, which is out now. $110 daily training road shoe with a nice 30-24 stack height of supercritical foam and a full rubber outsole. It weighs 9.3 ounces, 264 grams in a US Stein, and it's also available in the black, the white, and the traditional Atreyu colors. So it was in 2020 that Michael of Atreyu sent me his very first shoe, and I tested it right here on the indoor track, and I was just thrilled with its performance. They followed it up with the base model V2, which got a supercritical EVA foam, which is what we have here in the Daily Trainer. As before, we were riding on the midsole foam, whereas in the Daily Trainer, we now have a full rubber outsole, which contributes to the difference in weight of between 6 ounces for your base model and 9.3 ounces for your Daily Trainer. 2022 came the base trail with an identical midsole stack height to the Daily Trainer, but with 3.5 millimeter lugs versus about 1.5 here, and a bit more weight. So we can say our Daily Trainer is really a variant of the trail, which I found really good on the road as well. Well, we're in 2023, and now Atreyu has the Daily Trainer. So how does it differ from the original base model and the trail? Well, it has a 30-24 stack of an EVA supercritical foam. It weighs 9.3 ounces, 264 grams in a US 9. This is my US 8.5, and that checks out. Unlike the base model, and I'll show you a picture now what its underside looked like. We have a full outsole, kind of a gum rubber type outsole, I guess about 1.5 millimeter lugs. So I think you'll be able to do some light trail, forest path kind of stuff with this. It's certainly it has enough coverage there, and it's full, whereas our base had none. So it's actually closer in a lot of ways to the trail fit of our Daily Trainer. Okay, so I'm true to size, 8.5, no question about that. What I am feeling though is this is my narrow right foot. I'm not quite getting the hold on my right narrower foot than on my wider left. I think the mesh in combination with maybe the collars being a bit on the light side at the rear are contributing to that. So if you have a narrower lower volume foot, you may struggle a bit more than someone with a wider, higher volume foot. A few notes about the upper. So a very simple upper. Honor simplicity is Atreyu's motto. You can see it's a single layer of mesh. You can see through. There are no overlays, no gusset tongue. This is kind of a leatherette with a bit of kind of padded mesh on the inside. We do have a full heel counter. You can see it has a TPU overlay there, and there's also one that creates a nice little toe bumper. So it's called the Daily Trainer, and I've already run once, and I'm going to run another time right now, but that's what it feels like. So very nice stack, height 30-24, very decently up there, plenty of cushioning. Let's see if it's flexing after the runs. Not much. So it's a rocker feel, and it seems to be ineffective. So let's talk about the ride here at the Park City track with these beautiful Olympic posters. Park City hosted the Olympics in 2002, and will probably host it again real soon. They're getting ready. So let's talk about the ride here. As named, daily training ride, plenty of cushion. I really like the combination here of this supercritical EVA, which is moderately soft, not super firm, and this outsole. So the combination gives you kind of a very springy, forgiving cushion. Not a bouncy feel, more a springy feel. And then the outsole gives you the response and kind of the pop here. It does, you do feel, you don't necessarily have the same feel as you might with a plate, say in the Endorphin Speed 2 or 3, your response or your is more at the ground. So you do have some squish in. That tells me it's fine for all paces, but there may be other choices such as your endorphin speed or magic speed, or even the Atreyu artist for those faster days. But for 80% plus of your running, plus maybe even a little bit of light trail, you've got a great option here. And the weight is the 9.3 ounces. Quite interesting. I didn't even notice it as such. It runs very, very light. It is the rocker profile. You can see after 2 runs, well, we got a little bit of toe off flex, so it's a rocker profile. It's stable underfoot, very stable underfoot, but at the upper level, I think we could use a bit more support. It's $110, which is kind of remarkable. So where might the difference in pricing between this and, say, a Saucony Ride 15 or 16 with more conventional EVA TPU blend come from? Well, it's probably mostly the upper, because everything else below the foot, the actual ride, is top notch. Nothing wrong with this upper, but it isn't quite what you'd get for, say, 150 as one of those shoes. A couple others to compare to over on, for example, Nike, the Invincible Run 3 we just tested. More ponderous kind of rocker. Its spring is it's quite rigid. It's more stable. The upper certainly is way more supportive, to a fault, really. But it's a more ponderous running shoe at really any paces for me, because there just isn't much flex and not really an effective rocker. Another one that comes to mind, the Saucony Triumph 20, somewhat bouncier feel, a little bit higher drop at 10 millimeters, I think. A little more conventional ride. Again, a pricier shoe. This is kind of pure daily training. Now, I kind of like the look here. And here's the white version Michael also sent me. And what's kind of neat is Atreyu, when they started, was a subscription model. And now they've gone away from that. And you can actually get the Daily Trainer right now at REI, our partner REI. We will get a commission because we are partners with them. You'll see a link down at the bottom, which is remarkable for a small company to make the shelf of REI. And I think REI is also thinking a bit that this may be a win in the lifestyle category as well. And I would agree. We recently tested the Tracksmith Elliott Runner, and it weighs almost exactly the same. Has a Supercritical P-Bax foam midsole, has a kind of rubber outsole, a little more substantial in terms of lug height, but less coverage, and a considerably kind of stouter upper that makes that shoe almost trail-worthy. And I got to tell you, this guy here has a more kind of performance-oriented ride than the Elliott Runner, which was kind of dull. That had firmer sidewalls of a coating that kind of made everything firm, plus the big outsole, almost full coverage, but seemingly not as well implemented as here. So I went off track, but if you like the look, I think it also competes with a lot of the kind of lifestyle-oriented brands that are out there very nicely. Of course, you'd have to like the Atreyu branding, but I do. Their motto is honor simplicity, and that's what they do with every shoe. So we're going to have a multi-tester review with Michael Ellenberger, longtime fan also of Atreyu, real soon. Atreyu Daily Trainer, available now at Atreyu and REI. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great run.